Hello everyone and welcome back to the UConn Huskies Dynasty. It is officially year number 6. And I've mentioned it before, a couple comments mentioned it. It does seem like the national championship window is opening for the UConn Huskies. This is easily the most balanced the roster has ever been. And I know it's on everyone's minds. Who is going to start at quarterback? There's the freak athlete, Dorian Tobin, a jack of all trades. He's very good at everything. And he was a really good quarterback for us last season, replacing Cole Welliver at the halfway point. But then there's the redshirt freshman, John Pelshak. And if you recall, he was the #1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school a couple seasons ago. The decision has been made for John Pelshak to take over as the starting quarterback. And there's a few reasons behind this. But the main reason being that Dorian Tobin is just an incredible weapon that we don't want to take away from this offense. He will play as a halfback this season, but he will also be the primary slot receiver. So you will see him lined up out wide. You'll see him in the backfield. We're going to run more Wildcat this year, so you will see him lined up as a quarterback in Wildcat formation. I want to get him the ball as much as possible. The 98 speed is just killer. And if you're a Max Cadet fan, do not worry. He will still play quite a lot. The wide receiver one is Dalton Schmizniak. Then it'll be Tevin Madu, Terry Overhauser, and the redshirt freshman Jeffrey Ritchie. The new tight end one is going to be Dan Sanders, replacing Marcus Angler, and then you'll see quite a bit of Jay Joe as well. Here's how it's going to work on the offensive line, at least to start. Manny Smith is going to get his chance to start at left tackle again. We know how penalty prone he was last season. If that continues to be a problem, we will bench him once again, but his attributes, especially as a pass blocker, are just far too good to not at least give the opportunity to. At left guard, Nolan Lindsay, who is now the highest rated offensive lineman, is the starter there with the 90 strength. At center, it's going to be the transfer, Bryce Suttle, and if you recall, he does have elite development. He is only a 77 overall, and that might be a little concerning, but I'm not that worried about it. His ratings are really pretty solid. Are they the best? No. Will he be a little bit of a problem? Maybe. Dexter Ort will be the right guard. And kind of similarly to Nolan Lindsay, he's really good outside of run block and pass block power, which hopefully does not come back to bite us since he is an interior offensive lineman. And at right tackle, it's going to be Frank Davis. Originally, it was going to be Ted Booth, but the pass block finesse is just horrible. Frank Davis is a much better pass blocker. I think that's a little bit more of what you want from a tackle rather than run blocking. So even though Booth is a better run blocker, I think I prefer Frank Davis in this role. Defensively, it's mostly the same as it was last year, just with a missing Raheem Lovelace, unfortunately. Adonis Keogh being the starting left end, D'Angelo Townsend the starting right end. The D tackles are Clyde Novak and Darren Michelle. Corin Daly will still play, but I want to see Darren Michelle, the elite development freshman, get some playing time. At left outside linebacker, it's going to be Addison Biggs. At middle linebacker, it's Joey Terrell, of course. And then at right outside linebacker, it's the elite development sophomore, Dennis Colin. For corners, it's going to be Kiki as our #1 guy this season. He proved to me last year, I think he can be the #1 guy. He's got the best speed. He's one of the best athletes on the team. Then it's Santos, and then Hepburn, of course, in the slot as always. And then Randy Radovich is just a nice backup. Corner is a big need going into next season. To start the year, the free safety is going to be David Maddox. He has high awareness and high play recognition. Very, very smart player. His coverage ratings do concern me a little bit, and we will definitely be watching him like a hawk. There's a few guys that could take over his spot. Parker Sims, I think, with the 96 zone coverage could be just fine, especially considering he's faster. And then the other guy to consider would be Joshua Dora, who has 88 speed and 95 zone coverage. He would probably be the first in line to take that spot. At kicker, it is going to be the true freshman Tyreek Hollis getting the start. His kick power is almost 10 points higher. He also has the physical ability of Mega Leg. As mentioned, Max Cadet will be the power back, and the slot wide receiver will be Dorian Tobin. Rush left end is Adonis Keogh. Rush right end is D'Angelo Townsend. And then the rush D tackle is Corin Daly and Johnny McNulty. I want McNulty to be able to get a little bit of playing time in his senior season as well. At sub linebacker, obviously the #1 guy is Joey Terrell, but then I really went back and forth on who should be the second sub linebacker, and I ultimately decided on Dennis Colin. Addison Biggs has become a really, really good player, and it's a shame that he just plays on a team that is so deep at linebacker, and especially with an up-and-comer like Dennis Colin there as well. Biggs is a smarter player. He has better play recognition by quite a bit. He's got really good block shedding, but Dennis Colin is faster by a not insignificant margin, especially in the acceleration category. He's one of the fastest players on the whole team, let alone the linebacker room. He also has good power and finesse moves, which, by the way, Joey Terrell, 99 finesse moves, that's gross. Here's the upcoming schedule for the season. It may have changed a little bit compared to what you saw during the offseason episode. It was bugging out quite a bit. I had Florida in here somewhere, and whenever I tried to move them to week 13 to try to maintain a bye in the middle of the season, it would immediately just teleport them back to like week 7 or wherever it was. So I had no way of putting a bye week in because it just kept moving it back up. I could not schedule anything for week 13. So here's the schedule. It's no bye week, which is absolutely brutal. And of course, I think what everyone is interested in, the recruiting board. So if we look at team needs, the offense is pretty well set up. I might go after like a wide receiver, and I don't think it ever hurts to get offensive line help. And it says we need a couple quarterbacks, but defensively, we need everything. And I think easily the biggest need is corner. So we are targeting a number of corners in the recruiting board this season. So let's go over who I have on the board currently. At the top, 5-star Spencer McCartney. We are 5th on his board. He is a power rushing left end from Texas. I think really the top priority is this guy, Larry Hay, a 5-star corner from North Carolina. He is the #1 corner in the class. Going after wide receiver Emmett Goda as well. Then there's defensive tackle Jim Clemens, who we are already 1st on his board. He's the 2nd D tackle in the class. And then one guy I'm really interested in is Ben Talbot. He is a 4-star gem from Georgia, and he has 96 speed with 80 man coverage. To put that in perspective, Larry Hay, the 5-star, has 93 speed and 78 man coverage. These guys could be a deadly, deadly duo in the future. I honestly think Ben Talbot may even be my favorite player on this recruiting board currently. Then there's another 4-star gem in John Akindele, another corner in Frederick Blanco, also with good speed and decent man coverage. Middle linebacker going to be a position of need pretty soon. Joey Terrell graduating this season, and Dennis Colin going to be a junior next season. So Carl D'Imperio is on the board. He has 89 speed and high tackling. Maybe reads a little bit more like a Raheem Lovelace than he does a pass coverage guy like Joey Terrell. Then there is a halfback on the board. That's 4-star gem Von Borden. I really liked his high speed. We don't really have that as a halfback right now, other than Dorian Tobin, of course. Another corner in Leon Ansa. He is not a gem as a 4-star, and he is also a zone coverage guy, so his man is not as good. And then the other guy we're going all in on is Chris Demerit, a left tackle pass protector from New Jersey. Again, offensive line, not a huge need this year, but it never hurts to get more guys in. There are more players further down on the board, including a punter, but we will get to them when we get to them. The primary focus is these guys at the top. But it is time for some UConn Huskies football. Facing off against one of the biggest rivals in this series, the Syracuse Orange, to start the season. It's playoffs or bust this season for the UConn Huskies, with a new quarterback at the helm, the redshirt freshman, John Pelshak, the future of this team. UConn will start with the football, and we are underway in year number 6. This is Randy Radovich back deep to return. He will be taking over the primary kick returner duties. And here comes Pelshak and the UConn offense, and lined up in the backfield is Dorian Tobin. You're still going to see a lot of Max Cadet whenever Tobin is lined up out wide. First play of the new season is a handoff. Dorian Tobin up the seam and a pickup of 9. Second and about 1.5 yards. Tobin's still the back. He'll get another carry, makes a cut, and has the first. Empty set for John Pelshak. 1st and 10. Blitzer on its way. Pelshak gets this out to Tobin. 3 plays, 3 touches for Dorian Tobin. 2nd and 5 from the 42 as Pelshak's back to pass again. Goes underneath. That's Tevin Madu with his first catch. And now coming out in the Wildcat is Max Cadet. Don Lambo to his right. 3rd and 1 from the 46. Cadet on the carry. Breaks out of a tackle and has the first. Up to the enemy 48. Cadet still the back on this next play. And he will get the carry. And he trucks over one defender. Stays on his feet and goes down after a pickup of 6. 2nd down and 4. Tobin coming over in motion, and it's a jet touch pass for Dorian Tobin. Some of the best speed in college football. Jukes out 2 defenders and goes down at the 22. A big pickup for Dorian Tobin. On 2nd and 10 from the 22. Pelshak to throw. Finds Terry Overhauser on the wide receiver screen, and he gets 7 of those yards. 3rd down and 3. Pelshak to throw. He's got Dan Sanders room to run to the outside as well. Sanders goes down at the 3. 1st and goal, UConn. And once again, the Huskies come out in the Wildcat formation. It's Cadet lined up as the quarterback. 1st and goal from the 3. Direct snap to Cadet. Down he goes, losing 4 yards. Not exactly what we wanted there, as Pelshak back in the game. From the 7, a 2nd and goal. And Pelshak, hit as he throws, was looking for Dorian Tobin, but it falls harmlessly to the turf. 3rd and goal. 1 blitzer on his way. Pelshak to throw, scrambling to the left side. He's not going to find the end zone. He's out of bounds at the 2. But we're going to line up to go for this. 4th and goal from the 2. It's Dorian Tobin out of the Wildcat. Cadet coming over in motion. Snap to Tobin. He's going to follow Max Cadet. Is he fast enough? He is. You know that he is. Touchdown UConn to start the day. Dorian Tobin going to be a huge part of this offense this season. And on the Wildcat play, he gets the first touchdown of the year for the UConn Huskies. Expect to see Wildcat fairly often in the red zone especially. We have been a bad red zone team in the past, and I think that this helps us get those red zone touchdowns, and Tobin just too fast. This Syracuse offense is led out by Nate Schlesinger, a 72 overall sophomore. This offense has definitely seen better days. At halfback, it's Bruce Mechie as the number 1, and then Max Garrison, who appears to be a true freshman. At wide receiver, it's Brett Hurley, Darian Raggi, Conrad Willingham, and Jeremy Panos. And then at tight end, it's Daniel Bojorquez and Evan Leonard. This is a team that honestly our defense should be dominating. So what will UConn look like without the captain, without Raheem Lovelace? Will they be the same team? Will it hurt to have him absent? Pick up a 4 to start the day for Syracuse. Going to see a lot more of this man, number 55, Dennis Colin, in the game alongside Joey Terrell. 2nd and 6 from the 23. So they bring a man over in motion, and then looking to throw is Schlesinger. And down he goes, Adonis Keough around the edge, picking up where he left off last season. Led the team in sacks, and he's looking to do so again. 3rd and 16 for the Orange, and Adonis Keough jumps off sides immediately after making the play. So instead of 3rd and 16, it's 3rd and 11. Schlesinger back to pass and throws left side. Broken tackle, but goes down anyway to Santos. And they're going to be short of the first down marker. They will go 3 and out to start the day. Offense back out on the field. Looked nice on the first drive, although they did have to convert that 4th down, and down goes Tobin. Bryce Suttle, the center, struggling that time. This is definitely a better offensive line than we had last season, but maybe not quite what we'd want. As Pelshak gonna take the check down to Dan Sanders. By scrambling to the right, he actually opened up some room for Sanders there. In terms of pass blocking, though, this may be the best O-line we've ever had. It's very balanced in the high 80s, pretty much across the board for pass blocking, as Tobin gets the carry and is brought down after a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6 from the 47, and Pelshak throws quickly and underneath for Tevin Madu, who gets the first. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion, and Dalton comes over in motion. He is the beneficiary of the jet touch pass this time, and he gets 4. Makes it a bit more manageable. 3rd down and 6. Tobin in the backfield. Pelshak to throw. Room to run here to the outside, but he's going to throw to Tevin Madu instead, who makes the grab at the 28. 1st and 10 UConn. That brings us to the second quarter. UConn dominating the time of possession so far today. Cadet gets the carry. Nolan Lindsay gets dominated in the interior, and nowhere for Cadet to go. 2nd down and 12 as Pelshak will look to throw, and left side for the backup tight end Jay Joe. He drops it. That brings up a 3rd and 12. Pelshak back to pass. Gets it to his playmaker Dorian Tobin, but he can't break out of the tackle. 4th and 11, time to attempt a 46-yarder with the new kicker Tyreek Hollis. The kick from Hollis on its way and right down the middle. That would have been good from about an extra 20 yards. He does have a huge leg. 10-0 UConn to start the day. From the 25, 1st and 10 for the Orange, and it's a handoff, and this one is to Bruce Mechie. He finds 5 yards. Under center now for Nate Schlesinger. His name is hard to say. 2nd and 5 as he throws, but it is short of his target. Good coverage from Hepburn as well. 3rd down from the 30, and they are back to pass. Scrambling and running into Dennis Colin, who forces a fumble. It is recovered by the Orange. But it's another 3 and out for Syracuse. 4th and 16. They'll punt it once again. Dennis Colin got there quick. UConn gets to start from their own 45 this time. Pelshak play action. And now scrambling. Nothing very open. He just decides to throw it away. 2nd down. Back to throw again with John Pelshak. And this is to Tevin Madu. And he holds on to make it a 3rd and medium. From just past midfield, Pelshak. Back to pass, hit as he throws, was looking for Dorian Tobin. Falls incomplete, 4th and 4, will punt it away. A pretty solid kick from the punter, Roger DeLuca. Sees Syracuse start at the 11, as this is going to be a jet sweep, and he's trying to be chased down by Johnny McNulty, but he finds some open field, and it's a big pickup for the Orange, all the way up to the 30. 1st down and 10. Schlesinger throws over the middle, man wide open as Kiki couldn't keep up. And that's another 1st and 10 up to the 48. Not often that you'll say George Kiki can't keep up. He has 97 speed, 2nd fastest man on the whole team. 1st and 10 from the 48 as Syracuse moving nicely this time. But Corin Daly's in the backfield on the read option, and he reads it properly. It's a loss of a yard for Syracuse. 2nd and 11 from the 49. Under some pressure, and down goes Schlesinger. It's D'Angelo Townsend in the backfield, forcing a 3rd and forever. After the regular season, Adonis Keough and D'Angelo Townsend were tied in total sacks on the team. Let's see if they can do that again this season. Schlesinger scrambling to his right, finds a target, but he's not going to get enough yardage. It'll be 4th and 5, and Syracuse is electing to punt. For whatever reason, this Orange team, despite being quite a bit worse than us on paper every single season, plays us very, very close all the time, as Tobin only finds a couple yards. The run game has not been working. And they've also been blitzing nearly every play. It's Pelshak going to throw quickly on the drag route to Tevin Madu, and he has the 1st. Tobin in the backfield, 2nd and 8. Tobin does get the carry and gets a few to set up a 3rd and short. From the 40, a 3rd down and 3. Pelshak going to actually scramble here to his right and going to find the 1st down yardage, sliding down at the 50. Pelshak maybe not as athletic as Tobin. I don't know who could be, but he is 6'6" and he moves pretty well. Reminds me a little bit of like Justin Herbert, for example. Huge, but not incapable of running, as Pelshak gets this one to Dalton Schmizniak and he drops it. Dalton had some dropping issues late last season, hoping to not see more repeats of that. Pelshak will get this out to Schmizniak again, no drop this time, and he actually gets the ball across the line. 2nd and 8 from the 38. Pelshak scrambling and finding Dan Sanders. It's dropped. The throw came in a little bit hot, but you gotta expect Dan Sanders to make that catch. You know who probably would have is Marcus Angler. 3rd and 8 from the 38. So we're back to pass and getting this over top of the defense. Dorian Tobin in zone. Touchdown UConn. John Pelshak to Dorian Tobin. And UConn will extend their lead to 17-0 pending the PAT. This is a great ball from John Pelshak. Hit as he throws right over top of the linebacker. Led Tobin perfectly, and it gets 6. All UConn so far in the home opener. A minute 48 and 3 timeouts for the Orange. Schlesinger back to pass, scrambling, and down he goes. It's Dennis Colin in the backfield getting his 1st sack on the season. A loss of 7. 2nd and long for the Orange. Schlesinger throws and finding a man. Colin couldn't actually keep up. That is a pickup of quite a bit, honestly, making it a 3rd down and 4. That was Brett Hurley on the reception. Back to pass again is Schlesinger. Has an open man, a bit of a low throw, but he makes the play, and Gerard Byler makes the tackle. Byler also a senior this season. First and 10 from the 44. Schlesinger running out of time, scrambling. What a throw, but incomplete. Forced out by Jamie Santos. Second and 10 from the 44 as they approach midfield. Schlesinger running out of time. Johnny Spark Plug McNulty with the 5th UConn sack of the day. 3rd and 17 from the 37. 1:09 left to be played as they go read option here. It's going to be a pretty big pickup for Schlesinger, and it's going to be 4th down and 8. We're going to call a timeout as we may have time for additional points. An absolutely horrendous punt has us starting at our own 34. First down and 10 from there. Pelshak back to pass. He's going to launch one deep down the field. He wants Terry Overhauser. It's deflected. From the 34, 2nd and 10 as Pelshak looks to throw again, and he wants Dalton Schmizniak, but it's a little overthrown from John. 3rd down and 10 from the 34. Pelshak back to pass. He wants Dorian Tobin, but it's knocked down. And that is a quick 3 and out for UConn. That does give Syracuse still quite a bit of time. They do still have 1 timeout and not terrible starting field position. Schlesinger will look to throw, and that one is completed for a pickup of 8, and I believe that stops the clock as well. 33 seconds left to play. 2nd down and 2. Schlesinger out of the shotgun. Running out of time once again, scrambling and running into Adonis Keough. Another sack for the UConn Huskies. 3rd down and 9 from the 30. Schlesinger under pressure immediately again, and D'Angelo Townsend brings him down. 7 sacks in the first half for the UConn Huskies D-line. And it's been a little bit of everyone. Adonis Keough with a couple, D'Angelo Townsend with a couple, Johnny McNulty's even getting involved. This UConn D-line is hungry. And that brings us to halftime, 17-0 UConn. This team so far is reminding me a lot of last season, where the offense has been okay and the defense has been incredible. If we can just get both of them to work in tandem and be incredible at the same time, we might have one of the best teams in the country. Syracuse with the football to start the second half, down 17-0, and not really being able to move the ball very much so far today, as Schlesinger under pressure again. It's AJ Hepburn with a sack. 8, count them, 8 sacks for the UConn Huskies defense. 2nd and 18, Schlesinger to throw. No pressure this time, gets it off to a check down. Makes it a 3rd and 14. 3rd and long from the 21, Adonis Keough jumps again. And he's doing the silencer celebration. So Keough, an incredible player, but maybe a little bit prone to penalties. 3rd and 9, Schlesinger to pass. Has some time, but he runs into Adonis Keough, who gets his 3rd sack of the day. Adonis, he hit the silencer because he knew the next play was coming anyway. 4th and 17 for the Orange. They will punt again. Adonis Keough quickly becoming a favorite player in the series. I knew he was going to be a beast, but I did not expect him to be so good so quickly. Already maybe one of the top defensive players, and he's only a sophomore. 1st and 10 from the 44. Tobin gonna get the carry, and there's nowhere to go. A blitz sent from Syracuse. The run game just has not worked today. Tobin, by the way, slow to get up after that play. Hopefully nothing too concerning. 2nd and 11 from the 43 as Terry Overhauser will get the reception here for a pickup of 6. 3rd down and 5 from the 49. This goes underneath to Dalton Schmizniak, trying to fight for the 1st down yardage. He doesn't get it. 4th and 1 from the 47. But the offense is staying on the field. It's Dorian Tobin in as the quarterback in the Wildcat formation. 4th and 1 from the 47. And it's a handoff. Max Cadet, he's not going to get it. A turnover on downs for the UConn Huskies. And Syracuse will take over. So 1st and 10 for the Orange. Their defense giving them a chance potentially, as this is going to be a running play that goes nowhere. That's David Maddox for the first time getting involved. Apologies, that was actually Joshua Dora getting that TFL. 2nd and 11. This is David Maddox, number 37, making that tackle. Somehow Dora and Maddox have found themselves on the field at the same time. 3rd down and 3 for Syracuse from the 44. Handoff up the gut. Good running room. A leaping attempt from Bruce Mechie. 1st and 10. Positive side of the field for once, and down goes Schlesinger. It's Gerard Byler. Even the safeties are getting in on the action. This man just has no time to throw. The story of the day has been this UConn pass rush. 2nd and 16 from the 44. Schlesinger to throw under pressure from Johnny McNulty. And this one downfield crushed is the receiver. That's Santos in coverage. 3rd and forever for Schlesinger in the offense. Out of the shotgun, he looks to throw. He's under pressure again, finding a target, but it's incomplete. A big hit from Dennis Colin, and they'll punt it away. This UConn defense is special this season. Easily the most balanced defense we have had. 1st and 10 from the 15. Pelshak will look to throw and just takes the quick underneath to Dorian Tobin for a pickup of 9. 2nd and 1 back in the Wildcat from the 25. Tobin going to get the carry out of the Wildcat. Takes a huge hit, but does have the first. Oh, he's frozen in place. Oh no, somebody check on him. From the 26, a 1st and 10, play action. And this one gets to the tight end, Dan Sanders. Lots of open field for Dan, and he's past the 50, fighting for extra yards, and down at the 47. Big first down for UConn. Pelshak looks to throw, and he wants Tevin Madu, gets it to him. Some room to run for Madu, and he's up to the 23. Hopefully the run game isn't always going to be this bad, and we won't have to rely this much on the pass, but it's been working decently well so far today. As Pelshak gets this over to Dalton Schmizniak, who makes the catch through Dorian Tobin and has 9 yards. Tobin in the backfield, and out of the pistol is Pelshak. Tobin will get the carry, and finally a good running play. Dorian Tobin nearly finding the end zone. 1st and goal. Max Cadet checks into the game. 1st and goal from the 1. I think everybody knows who this football's going to. Max Cadet into the end zone. Touchdown UConn. One of the best goal line backs in the country gets his first rushing touchdown on the season. The junior now, Max Cadet, making his name known. 2:20 left in the 3rd quarter, and it is 24-0 for the UConn Huskies. Schlesinger finally with time to throw, but he's going to throw an interception. It's A.J. Hepburn, a house call. Pick 6 for A.J. Hepburn. His first interception in his senior season goes for a tutty. Finally, Schlesinger has time to throw, but maybe he's not great when he has that kind of time. Throwing a pick 6 immediately to A.J. Hepburn. Finally, a dominant performance against the Orange. I think we obviously have surpassed them in talent, but they kept playing us close year after year after year. Running play this time, that's one of their backup halfbacks in the game, actually, Warren Levine. But now Bruce Mechie checks back in. 2nd and 7 from the 28. Obviously must score drive, I think, for every drive for Syracuse for the rest of the game. Schlesinger under pressure. Adonis Keogh can't get the sack, but Johnny McNulty can. The 11th sack of the day for this UConn defense. The O-line of Syracuse just cannot keep up. 3rd down and a long ways to go. Schlesinger throwing downfield, nearly intercepted by Santos. He drops one there. 4th and 13, they'll punt. All UConn all day, 31-0. Dorian Tobin going to get a carry here and find some positive yardage for once. 4th quarter officially underway. 2nd and 4 UConn. And Cadet going to get a carry up the gut this time, and basically nothing there. 3rd and 3 from the 40. Pelshak back to throw. He's got Dan Sanders, the completion to the tight end, and another first. Wisely staying in bounds to continue chewing this clock. From the 23, a 1st and 10, Tobin gets the carry, a burst of speed for Dorian Tobin, and a big pickup up to the 10. Somehow this isn't a 1st and goal, despite being inside the 10. Tobin on the carry, can't make the last man miss. 2nd and goal from the 5, it's the Wildcat once again for UConn. Coming over in motion is Max Cadet. He's the one who gets the football, but they let a D lineman through immediately. It's a loss for Max Cadet. That's Barry Wright. If you remember, Barry Wright is one of the players that Syracuse stole from us years ago now. From the 8, a 3rd down and goal for John Pelshak. Going over the middle, he wants Dalton Schmizniak, who dives for it and makes the grab. Touchdown UConn. They extend the lead even further. And this is what you want to see from UConn this season. In years past, we have struggled playing down to our opponents time and time again. We need to dominate teams like Syracuse and anyone else that's middle of the pack. We are a top dog in college football. We need to play like it. But can UConn keep the shutout going is the ultimate question. 1st and 10 from the 23. Schlesinger, wide open man to the right side. He steps out of bounds, though. No run after catch there. Goes Darian Raggy, maybe for the first time today. 2nd down and 2 from the 31. Schlesinger will look to throw. Has a little bit of time this time, and finding his halfback, broken tackle. Byler cleans it up at the 45. That is unlike Joey Terrell to miss tackles like that. 1st down and 10 from the 45 for Schlesinger and the Orange offense. And it's going to be a screen. Joey Terrell laid out. Byler cleans it up again, and Corin Daly will exit with an injury. I did see his wear and tear meter drop exponentially. So 1st and 10 from the 45. Schlesinger to throw again. And another man wide open. What is happening to the pass coverage for UConn here late in the game? Suddenly we've got a lot of open gaps in the zone. I'd love to have the shutout here, but now they're in field goal range. Schlesinger fakes the handoff. Down he goes. It's Adonis Keough untouched into the backfield. I don't even know how many the kid has at this point, but it is far too many. What a day it has been for the sophomore Adonis Keough. 2nd and 15. Down goes Schlesinger again. It's Clyde Novak forcing a fumble, and it's recovered by D'Angelo Townsend. UConn takes back over. The shutout continues. Clyde Novak, the transfer, with the sack fumble, and D'Angelo Townsend with the recovery. What a dominant performance it has been for UConn. As we'll try to wrap this one up. Dorian Tobin getting the carry, and we'll just be chewing clock. 2nd and 3 from the 48. Cadet gonna get a carry here. Room to run for Max Cadet. Trying to stay on his feet. Gets the first. Under 4 minutes now. 1st and 10 from the 42 as Tobin gets the carry, cuts this back, and gets 8. From the 40. Pelshak will hand off Tobin. And a flag is down. Have not seen a holding penalty yet. Is this Manny Smith? No, it's actually Nolan Lindsay, the left guard. Makes it a 2nd and 14 from the 45. And out of the shotgun, Pelshak throws. Blitz on its way. Gets this to Dalton Schmizniak. And he'll get most of that back. 3rd down and 4 from the 36. Tobin going to get this one. And has the first up to the 29. That'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout. This is a little bit of a worry here, though. Risk of injury high for Tobin, or at least increased at the moment. He's going to see the ball a ton, being a running back and a receiver. He's on the field constantly. He's off the field for this play. But he's just going to see the ball a lot. He's going to take a lot of hits this season. We'll see what kind of toughness Dorian Tobin has. As Max Cadet, I thought he was about to stand back up. Tobin back in the game here, though. 2nd down and 1 from the 19. As Tobin not going to go anywhere. A loss of a yard. 3rd and 2 from the 20. Tobin gets another carry and gets the first up to the 18, and that'll wrap this game up. Game over. A dominant shutout victory for the UConn Huskies. This is what we're about this season. We want to dominate. We want the playoffs. We don't want to have these close games that we can lose at the end and then lose out on the playoffs at the end of the year. We want to make sure that we are the first team they list when they're listing the top 4 in the college football playoffs. UConn's defense held Syracuse to less than 100 total yards of offense. 85 yards is all that was given up. And a lot of that is because they have negative 74 rushing yards, and that is pretty much all due to the sacks. If we look at the player stats, John Pelshak had a really good day. 25 for 36, a lot of attempts, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It says Tobin was 1 for 1. That was a jet touch pass. As for rushing, Tobin 73 yards. Both running backs averaged 4 per carry, which is a little bit better than I was expecting, actually. After the slow start, it got a little bit better at the end of the game. I think I want Cadet to be a little bit more involved than this. It was a lot of Dorian Tobin in the running game. Receiving, Tevin Madu, actually the lead receiver in terms of receptions, 7 for 66. Dorian Tobin, 6 for 81 and the touchdown. Dalton Schmizniak, 6 for 46 and a touchdown. Dan Sanders, 4 for 73. He got open a lot and had a lot of running room afterwards. 49 run after catch, second only to Dorian Tobin. And then Terry Overhauser, even with a couple catches. And then defensively, man, where do we even start with this team? Byler with 5 solo tackles leads the team. 7 total, leads the team along with Keogh. Keogh had 5 TFLs total, 3 for Colin, 2 for McNulty, 2 for Townsend. 4 sacks for Adonis Keogh, leads the team. He had, I think, 8.5 last season. He is already basically halfway there through only 1 game. The guy is an animal. Johnny McNulty getting more playing time so far this season, 2 sacks for him. D'Angelo Townsend with a couple, Colin with a couple, Novak, Hepburn, and Byler each with 1. Hepburn, of course, had the pick 6. Clyde Novak had the strip sack, forcing a fumble, which was recovered by D'Angelo Townsend. And his Colin forced a fumble and also had a pass deflection. I mean, you can't ask for a lot more from this defense. It was incredible. Just an all-around disgusting performance from the UConn Huskies, as you'd want to see against a team like Syracuse. We'll go ahead and advance the week. Adonis Keogh, unsurprisingly, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. I assume he's going to be the National Defensive Player of the Week also, and he is. 4 sacks, 4 tackles, 5 TFLs, just a menace. Up next is North Texas. UConn jumps to 12th after being 16th to start the season after the huge victory over Syracuse. Here's the current top 25. Alabama, now the number 1 team. We, of course, beat them last season. They just beat number 15 North Carolina. Nebraska, the number 2 team in the country. Notre Dame, now officially part of the ACC, is up to 3rd. Auburn, Tulane, Georgia, Penn State, Texas Tech, Washington, and Stanford round out the top 10. Here's the rest of the top 25 if you want to take a look. Maryland, maybe one of the more surprising teams here. Georgia Tech has been pretty good. Cal is up here. San Diego State in that new Pac-12 with a couple new teams this season as well is currently ranked. Teams just missing out: Rutgers, Arizona, Western Kentucky, Kansas State, Florida State, App State, Boise State, Liberty, and Texas. Western Kentucky is a team to keep an eye on, actually. They moved from Conference USA, where they've been dominant in the diminished 6-team Conference USA, to now the American, which is a pretty significant step up. The American, probably the best group of 5 conference at the moment, unless you count the Pac-12 as a group of 5 conference. I guess it would be group of 6 at that point. Because if you forgot, we did add Arizona, Arizona State, and BYU, as well as SMU to the Pac-12. Removed a couple of the smaller teams, trying to make this once again a more competitive conference. I think this is what the Pac would want in the future, and they've definitely got more competitive teams. BYU's up to an 85 overall, the best team on paper in the conference. SMU is back here, but both of them started 0-1. And if you're curious who the main competition in the Big 12 is, it's probably going to be Baylor again. Baylor has consistently been a really, really good team, and they've just continued to narrowly lose out on the Big 12 championship and the playoffs. They finished on a 4-game losing streak last season, but still have one of the better rosters in the Big 12. We, of course, I think are the best team in the Big 12 currently, other than maybe Texas Tech. I know they're 84 overall, but they continue to win. They won the Big 12 last season, and I'm glad they're on the calendar this year. Other teams that have high overalls would be Utah, but they have started 0-1. Oklahoma State has an 86 overall team, and West Virginia is always a pretty solid opponent. Kansas State also an 87 overall. Other than us and Baylor, probably the next best team on paper. And by the way, Dorian Tobin is on Heisman watch. I think he could win it. Being a receiver and a running back, getting this many yards, this many touchdowns, he's going to get the ball constantly. I think that he has a serious shot to win the Heisman. But that all remains to be seen. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and for the continued support. I hope you guys are still loving the UConn series as much as I am. It's a blast, and I think we're finally ready to start pursuing that national title. But if you want to support me and support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. You can hit the join button down below and become a member for as low as $1 per month. And if you find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It helps me out a ton. And I will see you guys in the next episode where UConn takes on the newest member of the Big 12, North Texas.